Is working from home causing hyperacusis? But also shares similarities with symptoms or manifestations of other conditions. This common understanding of tinnitus symptoms as a warning signal from the brain is gaining new meaning. Be mindful of decreased sound tolerance. Everyday sounds can quickly become overwhelming. Hello again, and thanks for tuning in to our latest video. In this video, we will talk about problems with certain sounds, which are increasingly common these days, affecting many people working in home office environments. What is typical to all these people suffering from this type of decreased sound tolerance is how they are affected by some specific sounds, usually high pitch, while being able to tolerate complex sounds, such as traffic noise or even music. These individuals show good tolerance to even loud, complex sounds, yet they suffer significantly from exposure to not so loud, but very specific sounds such as microwave beep tones, HVAC systems, and many other very common sounds we usually don't even notice. Now, what is this tinnitus and brain connection all about? As we mentioned at the beginning of this video, this one is just the first video in the series which will cover this topic. So please subscribe to this channel now, and you will be informed when the next video from this series will be published. So what is tinnitus doing to our brains? First of all, it makes them tired. Tinnitus is nothing else but abnormally high levels of activity in the same parts of the brain. This is also why there is no cure for tinnitus. The only way to successfully remove tinnitus from our life is to remove the connection between tinnitus as a process and our awareness. In certain types of tinnitus, there are some ways of getting temporary relief, and this is something you can find on the internet where many people are, for example, showing different tricks based on adjustments of the necks or jaws. Also, masking, or in other words, listening to sound louder than tinnitus intensity, can make the tinnitus disappear for some time. Unfortunately, it does come back most of the time, and it's even louder. Meanwhile, this abnormal brain activity constantly shifts its location, occurring predominantly between individuals' nerve cells. And this is why there is no cure. Sometimes antidepressants are prescribed to help people who have extremely loud and annoying tinnitus. They are known to affect some parts of the human brain by making them less active than they normally would be, but most are known to be addictive and may cause side effects. Now, going back to our brain, most of the tinnitus-related problems we experience are based on our brain not being able to work correctly because some parts of our brain experience abnormally high levels of activity, making the brain to be so busy that it is not able to continue to do what it should do. This is a situation when people are having problems that sometimes greatly diminish their ability to focus. For example, staying focused to do some work can be quite difficult for them, especially for a longer time. Many individuals, even those with a very low presence of tinnitus, often complain about experiencing short-term memory difficulties when discussing loudness or annoyance. Again, the easiest way to think about this problem is this lack of spare brain processing power, and the brain of the tinnitus sufferer is so busy with this abnormal activity caused by the tinnitus presence that in effect some other brain functions are not as well taken care of as they should be. One of the common complaints among tinnitus sufferers is about increased brain activity. This often leads to feeling much older, with our enthusiasm for life greatly diminished or even entirely gone. The reality is that tinnitus sufferers deal with constant fatigue resulting from ongoing abnormal brain activity that persists day and night, 24 hours a day. Anxiety, short fuses, and nervousness are reflections of this constant and increasing tiredness. Another problem connected to it is insomnia or problems with the quality or ability to sleep. The truth is, we can only sleep well if we are relaxed. There is no chance for a person with all those thoughts running like rabbits inside their head to enjoy a good and restful sleep. As you know, we specialize in neuroscience at Metro Hearing and Tinnitus Treatment Clinic. And guess what? There is a lot of psychology tied up in everything we do. So here I am, ready to challenge all those who do not see the connection between tinnitus and their emotional well-being. And I will share something you might not be aware of. That long-term stress is not something to be taken lightly, because every stressful situation we encounter in our lives leaves a little something behind in our subconscious. It's like carrying around a weight on our shoulders that keeps getting heavier and heavier. Meanwhile, things may appear okay on the surface. Family, income, work, house, a new car should make us happy, right? But let's get real for a sec. If everything in life is so great, why do some people have trouble sleeping at night? What's the deal with that strange sensation of something trembling inside their chests? How about their legs constantly shaking and their hands moving as if controlled by a hidden remote? My friends, the answer is anxiety. It affects nearly 31% of the US population. Crazy, right? Now let's go back to what we promised to discuss in this video. Tinnitus is not just annoying noise in our ears. This condition has a very negative effect as it changes our personality right before our eyes. You see, tinnitus messes with our subconscious mind, affecting our thoughts and emotions. Remember, tinnitus is really nothing else but abnormally high levels of activity in some parts of our brain, and it makes our poor brains and minds overworked, exhausted, and as negative as possible, and it does show. We are losing patience and tolerance, and our nervousness makes people feel uneasy around us. Even our friends may slowly start fearing they might say or do something to set us off. We are so exhausted, desperately yearning for just a tiny break from this never-ending nightmare. And of course, our loved ones are impacted the most. Unpleasant words slip out more often than we'd like to admit. We tell people to get lost or give us some space over and over again. Now, here's something important to keep in mind. As tinnitus sufferers, we are not oblivious to the fact that something is going on. We can sense those slow changes happening within us. But the pain can reach such extreme levels that we do start to lose care. All those arguments and disagreements that happen without a real reason, it's like a never-ending cycle of tension. What's truly heartbreaking is how this condition widens the space between people who used to be so close. It's important to remember, though, that this condition is not just about noise. Tinnitus is actually changing our brains and our minds. This is not something people can simply fix themselves. Tinnitus has the power to transform us into someone almost unrecognizable. It's like we've become strangers in our own skin. This type of auditory system problem is becoming more and more common as more people work from home offices. It also takes time and research to find somebody who would have the knowledge about it and could correctly diagnose the presence of this particular problem by using specialized tests for this purpose. Many sufferers search internet in the hope of finding explanation and remedy the problems they face. Some people feel that the term hyperacusis fits their experience, while others are less satisfied, especially if they also have tinnitus, though it may not yet be severe. Then there are those who lean toward misophonia as a better match for their symptoms, often after researching online. From the clinician's perspective, specialized testing is needed to understand the nature of the problems affecting people complaining about this form of decreased tolerance, and a very good report coming from the sufferers. Can this condition be treated? In most cases, yes, but it takes quite a bit of expertise and experience to be successful. What we recommend to our clients is a consultation with some tests performed as well, as this condition can become a major problem for many, having a severe effect on their lives. Tests are followed by treatments, which include a registered psychologist, CBT, and mindfulness therapists. Addressing emotional issues is crucial because stress or anxiety has a huge impact on how severe this condition is, and it has an effect on the treatment progress. Specialized protocols and frequent retesting are ultimately required to verify the effectiveness of treatment tools and monitor progress, making it quite complex to help someone with what's often described as sensitivity to certain sounds. However, if left untreated, like many other hidden conditions, What seems initially minor can evolve into a significant issue, profoundly impacting the sufferer's life. Over time, this decreased tolerance for sounds can become debilitating and seriously affect their quality of life.